What's up, Diablo enjoyers? So today we are going to be talking about brand new Diablo-like or Exile-like games coming out in 2025/2026/ we actually don't know the release date. So the reason why I wanted to make this video is to show other players that there is going to be a lot more Diablo-like games coming out in the future, because currently as it stands, let's be real, the main games that we are looking at right now are pretty much Diablo 4 and Path of Exile 1 and 2. There really isn't any other games here that are really shining, so I wanted to go ahead and highlight other videos of games that are coming out in the future to maybe keep your eye on, or maybe try out the demos, as some of these games there is a demo available, and this way you guys can kind of see some of the games that I plan to play on the channel. So one of the first games that I want to really recommend, like this is probably the top tier game in my personal opinion so far on this list, and that is Titan Quest 2. They did have a playtest if you guys didn't get to check it out. I don't think it's going on right now, but this one 100% has my #1 pick for like the closest to Diablo that's actually like a good game, and it feels really good, and I have the highest expectations for this game. They did have a playtest. It was relatively short, but it did give us a glimpse on the customization, and they did have pretty good itemization. It didn't do anything super big brain in terms of like customization, other than you can kind of orient your skills around certain like points, then you can add more points into a very specific skill, and it can do a lot of different things. But it still is a pretty cool game overall, and it felt pretty good to play. But yeah, if you guys want to check out the gameplay, I have a lot of gameplay of a lot of games we're going to be talking about, but specifically again, Titan Quest 2, definitely on my radar. The next game I want to talk about is actually called Project Pantheon. Now, this game is actually being developed by Wolcen Studio. If you guys remember that other action RPG, Wolcen, which honestly a lot of people really did like. However, that game was plagued by bugs. Now, what's interesting with this is we don't really get that much gameplay. You can see over here there is some sort of thing going on, but it's like so small. They do show off in their little what is Project Pantheon. It's an action RPG. It's made by Wolcen Studio. Very surprised that they didn't just make Wolcen 2. I think it kind of has a negative stigma around it, because when the game came out, if you guys didn't play Wolcen, it was just riddled with bugs. But you can see it is going to be another action RPG. We even got a campfire here with maybe one of the classes. Looks like some sort of Viking or a barbarian, but at least we can get a glimpse at some of the art style. I don't know if this is in game in terms of like gameplay. I'm pretty sure this is like kind of rendered artwork that they did use over here, but you can see some of the art styles. They mentioned some of the gods, so maybe there's going to be some mythology in it, but nonetheless, I'm really excited to see what they come up with, as I think Wolcen was a really cool game that was unfortunately destroyed by optimization and incredible amount of bugs, and they never really felt like they sorted it out in time for players to enjoy the game. But I still have this game on my radar, again by Wolcen Studio. Again, these are the people that made the first Wolcen, and unfortunately they actually like shut down the servers, so it's never good to see a company like shut down the servers for any game, but they are making another game. My real question is, are you guys interested in Project Pantheon, or did the first title of the game kind of ruin your expectations for this developer? But nonetheless, there's another game called Crystalfall that I got my eyes on. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some of like the teasers, and this way you guys can see some of the other gameplay here. So you can see that there is a decent amount of customization. This is like a short 15-second one. There's like 2 trailers that we'll go ahead and show off, but this one is coming out in late 2025. But here's like the longer gameplay of the game. This is their gameplay trailer. It looks like you aren't all locked to humans too, which is kind of cool. I like seeing a variety of, you know, characters in any video game. I'm hoping that we can play humans. It looks like some sort of like a animal archetype, a hybrid, I think is what they call it here. But again, you can see that like the globes there for like the HP and the mana, and obviously you have your skill bar. So I'm really curious to see how this game shapes up, as I like action RPGs. They even said in one of their descriptions over here that it has a mix between like Diablo and Path of Exile. In one of their notes, it says combines the loot system of Diablo 2 with the theory crafting of Path of Exile. I mean, that sounds like a good time to me. The next game I want to talk about actually does have a demo that you can play. The game is called To Kill a God. It has crazy depth, and I actually really enjoyed this. It's a little bit more roguelike, to be honest, than like action RPG, but once you like get into the game and you see the skill tree and the customization options, a lot of the affixes are similar to your action RPGs that you've been familiar with. But I'm really looking forward to this game. Again, check out the demo. It's completely free. I liked it a lot. I beat it. It's, I don't know, like an hour long, but yeah, really cool game as well. coming out in the future. The next game I do want to talk about is Dragonkin. Now, technically, you can buy this game right now as an early access game, and I did get exclusive early access to the game a while back, and I want to say the first 20 minutes of this game, absolutely god tier amazing. I genuinely thought this was going to be the next action RPG. The first 20 minutes, they did an amazing job. The rest of the game, I can't say that I actually really enjoyed it. The problem is the loot was just really lackluster, that the way the combat felt a little bit too loose is probably the best way to put it. If you guys can try it out. I don't know if they're going to do like an open demo eventually, but nonetheless, it had so much potential. Again, the first 20 minutes of this game felt so dang good. There is this customization where like you have this pet and you can put like other things for your skills to interact with the pet, and then the pet will do certain things when you do certain things. But as far as the game goes, yeah, they have a lot of work to do. It is an early access game, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I still got my radar on this game, but right now it is a buy to play for the early access. And again, the first 20 minutes easily is like an 8 out of 10, and you'll have such a great time. But then after you go through the campaign, it is a real rough grind. But again, it's an early access, so keep that in mind. But yeah, this is another game I got my radar on, and as far as like when it's coming out, I'll update you guys on that. The next game I want to talk about is actually Grim Dawn over here. So as far as Grim Dawn goes, it's kind of an older game, but they are still getting another expansion. While we don't have any brand new gameplay, they did post recently a few newer things over on their website, and I wanted to go and show you guys kind of like their screenshots just so you guys get an idea on what this game looks like. It does, you know, I'm going to be 100% fair. It does look like it's outdated, but honestly, with action RPGs, I don't really mind too much as long as the game is good. They showed off a bunch of different like stats here. You guys can see all of the amount of unique items that they added in every single expansion of Grim Dawn, as well as like the base game, how many bosses they had in the game, and these super bosses and all of these other things, right? Which they actually talk about like how big the game is. They made like a post about how big the game is, and it says to put things in perspective, our current estimations, the brand new one is called the Fangs of Asterkarn. That's the new expansion that's coming out. Again, we don't know an official release date, but it makes it 110% as big as Ashes of Malmouth over here. So that way you guys can get an idea. This is supposed to be some sort of big game over here, so that's great. I like that. But anyways, just going over some of like the screenshots that were kind of showing off over here. If you guys want to see what the gameplay looks like, this one looks actually pretty good. So hopefully this will kind of bring some more life into the game, as well as bring newer people into Grim Dawn, as the game supports mods, and I like any games that support mods. But yeah, the game does look like it definitely has some potential. And then over here, lastly, I wanted to go ahead and mention other things that you guys can look forward to while you are waiting, because most of these games are unavailable, but there's like some demos for some of these. But Project Diablo 2 is something that I've got my eye on, as well as maybe playing a little bit more of the Hell 3. Again, the reason why I'm going to mention this is because sometimes when I play, like, let's say Diablo like 1, or let's say I go back to Diablo 2 or Path of Exile or Diablo 4, people are like, did you quit this game? I genuinely enjoy all of these games, guys, but the thing is that I kind of want to check out some other games, so hopefully you guys are cool with that as a content creator. Sometimes when you play other games, people think you quit, but I'm just making this video letting you guys know I plan to play a lot more action RPGs on the channel in the future, as well as we will still continue uploading Path of Exile and Diablo, which is what most of you guys probably are subscribed for. But we also got the new Marvel Rivals season coming out, and so I'll be on that as well. But anyways, let me know, guys, which games you guys are most excited about, and are there any other really cool action RPGs that I maybe missed in this video? Definitely let me know down below, as this is kind of my bread and butter and what I enjoy these games the most. But I really want a game to have really good PvP. I think that's an area that there isn't really too many other action RPGs that have it. But yeah, Titan Quest 2 is definitely got my #1 vote. If you guys haven't checked it out, that is what I highly recommend, but I'll put a couple of the links down below. But that's gonna wrap it up. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you want to be up to date with Titan Quest and all the other games that we mentioned, I will cover them, as there is going to be more stuff coming out probably pretty soon for some other games. But anyways, take care, gamers, and I'll catch you in the next video.